As temperatures cool down a little bit more into the lower 90s, it looks like we'll settle into lower 90s over the weekend with a small chance of rain. John?
All right, it is Trial Tuesday and vacation time for many of us, but while you're away playing, someone else could be up to no good back at home. Attorney David Aylor, one of the greatest legal minds of our time, here to protect your home while you're out on a trip. Counselor, thank you so much for being here. We appreciate it.
Happy to be here.
Hey, man, I mean, this is a dangerous situation. You think you go away, maybe you're on a trip enjoying yourself, and then you post a picture on Facebook. That's a tip-off to somebody back at home. You're not there.
Well, absolutely. You start with a lot of times, everybody looks forward to going on vacation. So sometimes you'll see on things like Facebook or other social website, a countdown maybe, you know, X amount of days till I get off work or away from this boss to get to wherever I'm going. Those things start to spread, and next thing you know, there are people looking at it that you don't want to see it. And then, like you also mentioned, actually the post of you on a beach or on a mountain or wherever it may be to show you that, show others rather that there you are, not at your house. Similar to like what we were talking about off camera, back when your newspapers used to kind of stack up in your driveway, another telltale sign that nobody's home. And then, like a recent case up in Anderson, South Carolina, you get your house broken into.
Wow. So how can we protect ourselves from doing this?
Well, there's nothing wrong with obviously sharing with your friends and family what you're doing and where you're going and that sort of thing, but you want to do it after the fact. Pictures get posted, things like that kind of get obviously shared on the internet, and when you do that, you just don't know who all is looking at it, even if it's somebody looking at your friend or your family's account that you don't know it. So in regards to particularly Facebook, things like that, you want to be real careful what you say ahead of time, just because you never know who's going to look at it. And also simple things like your newspaper or mail, you just want to get that stopped or at least controlled maybe by a neighbor, before you leave, because not only do you have situations where someone breaks in your house, you also have where they take your mail. They take your mail, they go in there, they get all your account numbers, and they steal your identity.
Yeah, that's the dangerous part of it. Yeah, a lot of people stop their mail, have a friend go and pick up their mail. I guess that's why people do that.
Right, exactly, because your house may look totally fine when you get home. Maybe even just one or two pieces of your mail are missing. You may not even realize it. That happens often. Those 2 or 3 pieces of mail have specific information on it. Next thing you know, you're getting all these fraudulent charges.
Identity theft, such a huge thing in this country right now.
Absolutely.
As well. Yeah, definitely. What are some other ways we can stay safe when we head out?
If you're going to leave and you don't have someone to look over your house specifically, you can buy, relatively cheaply, different places like Lowe's, Home Depot, things that'll turn the lights on and off, that sort of thing. You want to do whatever you can to try to protect your home because, again, if you're not looking out for it yourself and you don't have others around there, you never know who's going to be watching. And particularly around this time of year, similar to, Thanksgiving, Christmas, times like that, there's a lot of people out there that are going to be looking to take advantage of it.
Just preying on it, definitely. There's also those new home security systems that you can get. Some of them you can access right on your iPhone that'll control cameras and lights in your house.
Absolutely, yeah, and also have the videos on there and you monitors. But sometimes if people maybe are leaving in a rush, if you have an emergency or something like that, they don't have the opportunity to get all that stuff installed. So there are some simple solutions. But what you got to really be careful about is not putting something important in front of you, because sometimes you have issues with insurance afterwards trying to get coverage.
Indeed. Counselor, let's say that you return home from your vacation and found that you've been a victim of one of these things. What's your first course of action? Before
you do anything else, you want to have the police there. You want to get a police to do a full documented report. That's obviously to protect yourself, but it's also to protect, your neighbors and those around you, to make sure there's not others that have been harmed by these folks. But, when you're turning things over to insurance, you're going to have real specific issues on what was there and what has now been taken. I've seen cases where people have coverage issues because maybe they take a little while or they don't exactly handle it the correct way as far as, reporting it to the police, and then, whether or not the insurance companies will cover it can come up.
So make sure you know your coverage as well.
Absolutely. All
right. I feel safer already. David Aylor, thanks so much for stopping by.
We appreciate it. As always.
All righty. Well, coming up, nannies are ranking more than $100,000 a year. Imagine that. We're checking in your midday consumer news. That's next.